So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this online yoga sequence. So, this week we're focusing on hamstrings. So, the hamstrings are made up of three muscles at the back of the leg. So, just down here. So, they connect from the base of the spine or the hips to the back of the knee. Quite often, these get tight from daily lifestyles, so sitting regularly, driving in cars, and then not stretching them out again. Another activity that is notorious for tightening hamstrings is running. So I know with COVID, a lot of people have been unable to go to the gym, and so they've reverted to moving outdoors, which is fantastic. But if you don't stretch your hamstrings, they then tend to seize up and get really tight and can sometimes cause pain and discomfort in the lower back. So that's quite often how people experience the discomfort. Today, if you know that your hamstrings are really tight, I recommend you grab a pillow or a cushion to sit on so that you can elevate your hips and you'll be able to get a bit more of a hinge from the hips to stretch through the hamstrings. An alternative, if you don't have a pillow, is to make sure that you've got a wall close by that you can sit your back against the wall to make sure that the pelvis doesn't tilt back. So today we're going to straighten through our legs to start with. We're going to lift up through the chest, shoulder blades down the back, pulling our toes up towards us. So this pose here will be where you can feel if your hamstrings are super tight. So quite often our pelvis will tilt back, we'll start to bow in our back, and we won't be able to lean forward as effectively to reach our toes. So for those that have the tight hamstrings, if you sit up on your cushion, what this instantly does is tilt the pelvis forward so that you can fold better from the hips reaching forward. So as we start to explore the first forward fold, we can bend through the knees, through the ankles, and we're just going to gently massage our hamstrings. So we're just going to start to notice the body starting to become aware of what we can feel. When we can feel our limitations of the stretch, we gain self-awareness and we are able to listen to our bodies to make sure that we don't push them too far. So we don't want any torn hamstrings this week. We want to warm them up nice and gently. So just starting to notice here. So on the next few movements, begin to straighten through the legs, drawing the toes back towards you, lifting up through the chest. And we're going to slowly walk the hands down the legs this morning, folding from the hips as we go. Starting to notice when you can feel the pull in the back of the leg, and then just resting when you reach as far as you can go. So if you can reach your toes first up this morning, please do so. But if you can only reach to the knees, to the shins, keep lifting through the chest, hinging from the hips. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths here. So the breath is one of our most powerful tools that we can use for yoga, for life. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, and as we exhale, we're going to fold a little bit deeper. Feel a belly button pull to the spine as you exhale all the air. And then another deep breath in. So starting to notice the expansion and contraction of the chest. Using the exhale to fold a little bit deeper. Only going as far as you can go. We're going to spend 2 more breaths here. You can drop the chin to the chest. Feeling the body as it settles, feeling the hamstrings as they stretch. On the next in-breath, slowly walking the hands back up the legs, lifting up through the chest. Rolling the shoulders here, down the back. We're going to twist to the left, taking the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind the body. We're just going to release some of the pressure through the spine. And then inhaling back to center, and then twisting to the right, left hand on right knee, right hand behind the body. And then inhaling back to center. We're going to draw our left knee into our chest, pulling it in nice and close. You'll feel a stretch through your hip here as well. We're going to elevate the left foot off the mat, and we're going to keep our right toes pulled back towards us. We're going to start to rotate the left ankle. Big circles, lifting up through the chest. And then rotating back in the opposite direction. And then back to center. Placing our right hand on our left foot, so holding the foot in the hand. We're going to place our left hand on our left knee, and we're going to row down the inside of the right leg as far as you can go, lifting the leg up, drawing the knee back to the left shoulder, dropping the foot, and then rowing again down the inside of the right leg, lifting up, pulling back. So continue with this movement, noticing the hamstring, noticing how far you can row. Trying to keep the legs inside the frame of the body. 2 more movements here. This will also help us with opening up through the hip. Lifting up, drawing back, and then placing the left foot on the mat. We're going to drop the left knee out to the left side, lifting up through the chest. So with this pose, the body may turn to the left. We're going to turn it back to the right leg, lifting up through the chest. We're going to walk the hands down the right leg, reaching for the right toes. So both hands reaching for the right toes here, or reaching for the right leg. Deep breath in, and again, exhale, folding a little bit deeper. Checking in with the body, checking in with where you can feel the stretch. Noticing if you can feel it through the right hamstring, through the left hip. I can feel a stretch down the left side of my back as well as we twist towards the right toes. Two more breaths here. Folding a little bit deeper as we exhale. And one more breath. Slowly walking the hands back towards you, lifting up through the chest. We're going to draw the left knee back to center, straightening through the left leg. We can bend and straighten again, just releasing any tension through the hamstrings, gently massaging the calves, the hamstrings and thighs. With the knees bent, we can gently take them from side to side, releasing through the hips. And then slowly straightening through both legs, lifting up again through the chest. Deep breath in, and as we exhale, walking the hands down both legs again, reaching for the toes. So going as far as you can go, listening to your body, practicing yoga mindfully, using the breath, deepening the stretch as you exhale. starting to become aware if you can stretch any further. Noticing if the hamstrings are starting to lengthen. Noticing the differences in this pose compared to the first forward fold. One more breath here. And then slowly walking the hands back towards you, lifting up through the chest. Again, twisting the torso to the left, right hand on left knee, left hand behind the body. Releasing through the lower back. And inhaling back to center. Twisting to the right, left hand on right knee, right hand behind the body. And inhaling back to center. Drawing the right knee into the chest. Pulling it in nice and close, drawing the left toes back towards you, elevating the right foot off the mat. We're going to gently rotate the right ankle. Lifting up nice and tall. And rotating back in the opposite direction. Noticing all the sensations in the ankle, in the calf, in the shin. And then bringing the foot back to center. Taking the left hand onto the right foot, the right hand onto the right knee. We're going to row down the inside of the left leg. So as you extend the right leg, reaching it all the way out as far as you can go, then lifting the foot up, drawing the knee back to the right shoulder, dropping the foot back to the mat. Again, rowing down the inside, lifting up, drawing back. Continuing with this movement. Taking some deep breaths as you go, feeling the stretch through the right hip as well. Two more movements here, extending a little bit further each time. And then drawing the knee back, lowering the foot, placing it on the mat, allowing the right knee to fall out to the right side, lifting up through the chest, turning the torso to face the left leg as we slowly walk the hands out towards the left foot. So both hands are reaching for the left leg, holding onto the shin, the toes, wherever you can reach. Taking in a breath here. Folding deeper over the left leg. Noticing the body where you can feel the stretch. The hip, the back, the hamstring, all three. Two more breaths here. Stretching a little bit further. And then slowly walking the hands back towards the body, lifting up through the chest. Drawing the right knee back up to center and straightening through the right leg. Again, releasing any tension that you can feel here. So by bending and straightening the ankles, the knees, and then moving the knees from side to side, releasing through the hips. Slowly straightening through both legs, drawing the toes back towards you, lifting up through the chest, and walking the hands out again, folding forward. Again, folding a little bit deeper this time. A few deep breaths in. Noticing if you can fold a little bit deeper this time, a little bit deeper than last. Two more breaths here. Slowly walking the hands back up the legs, lifting up through the chest. Twisting to the left, right hand on left knee, left hand behind the body. Inhaling back to center, twisting to the right, left hand on right knee, right hand behind. And inhaling back to center. You can either fold the legs in front or kick the feet out to one side, shifting the weight forward, coming into tabletop. So finding your positioning, placing your cushion to one side if you've used it. Gently shifting the weight from left to right as you find your positioning. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, fingers spread nice and wide, tops of the feet pressed down onto the mat. Hands shoulder width apart, knees hip width apart. We're going to release through the spine here using cat-cow and the breath. So as we breathe in, dropping the belly down to the mat, lifting up through the crown of the head. Feeling the chest expand, and then when you've reached full capacity, exhale, drawing the belly button to the spine, tucking the tailbone and dropping the crown of the head down to the mat. Inhaling, dropping the belly, and exhale, belly button to the spine. Following the rhythm of your own breath here. Feeling the breath as it starts to connect to the movement of the body. Creating space in the lungs by dropping the belly down, allowing the diaphragm to vacuum. Exhale, belly button to the spine, pushing the air out of the lungs. One more breath here. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Tucking the toes, we're going to lift the hips up to the ceiling into downward dog. So if your hamstrings are still really tight here, you can keep the knees slightly bent, but trying to sink down into the heels. So you can alternate bending between the legs, walking the feet, pressing the head between the shoulders, between the arms, sinking down a little bit further, coming up onto both toes and then sinking down into both heels. Here we're going to slowly start to walk the hands back towards the feet. So if the hamstrings are tight, keeping the knees slightly bent. Otherwise, keeping the legs straight, allowing the weight of the upper body to hang towards the mat. Releasing any tension through the shoulders, through the spine, just allowing it to decompress. And then slowly walking the hands back out to downward dog. Again, sinking down into the heels. Slowly walking the hands back towards the feet, coming to a standing forward fold. Hanging here, slowly straightening through the legs if they're still slightly bent. And then walking the hands out in front to downward dog. Once more, we're going to walk the hands back towards the toes. Resting in a forward fold. Taking a breath, allowing the crown of the head to hang down towards the mat. Feeling the hamstrings as they start to lengthen. One more breath here. And then slowly walking the hands back out to downward dog. Sinking down into the heels. And then slowly bending through the knees, placing the knees back onto the mat into tabletop. You can roll the shoulders gently here. You can take a breath in cat-cow if you like, just releasing through the spine, through the lower back. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Stepping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Pressing the hips forward here. So you're going to feel a stretch through the hips. Just to open up a little bit through the hip, you can move the left knee from left to right, pressing forward again. And then releasing. We're going to lean back, shifting our weight over our right knee as we straighten through the front leg, drawing our toes back towards us. If you need to here, walking the hands back, we're going to reach towards the toes. If you can't quite reach the toes, you can come up to balance and reach forward or just hold on to the shin. Otherwise, if you can reach your toes here, or if you can reach the ground, folding a little bit deeper here. Reaching forward, allowing gravity to assist you here with the weight of the upper body. One more breath. And then we're going to slowly bend into the left knee, placing the hands back on the mat, pressing the hips forward. From here, stepping the left foot back into tabletop, shifting the weight left to right, releasing through the hips, and then coming back to center. Stepping the right foot to the outside of the right hand, pressing the hips forward. Again, if you'd like to, you can move the right knee from left to right, opening up further through the hip, and then pushing forward. One deep breath here. And then we're going to start to shift our weight onto our left leg as we straighten through the right, drawing the toes back towards us. Once again, if you need to, you can be leaning back a little bit further, or if you can, trying to really fold over the right leg. A few deep breaths here. Folding a little bit deeper. Being mindful, noticing where you can feel the stretch. And then slowly stepping back into the right foot, walking the hands out in front, pressing the hips forward. And then slowly stepping the right foot back, finding tabletop, gently releasing through the hips. And then coming back to center. We're going to walk our knees out to the left and right edges of the mat, or to just outside hip width apart. Joining the big toes together, we're going to sit back into child's pose. So you can drop the forehead down to the mat, walking the hands out in front, allowing the hips to rest over the feet. Taking in a few deep breaths. Becoming aware of the body's points of contact with the mat or with the ground. Noticing the breath and the movement of the body with each inhale and exhale. Noticing the texture of the mat or the floor beneath the fingertips. Noticing the weight of the chest with each exhale. Sinking a little bit deeper. You can remain here in child's pose, or you can press up onto your fingertips, taking your right hand, sliding it underneath the left, dropping the right shoulder down to the mat, resting the forehead on the mat. Threading the right arm underneath the left, stretching through the shoulder. Taking these moments to be present. Noticing your clothing against your skin, the temperature of the air that's surrounding you. Bringing your mind into the moment, not yet thinking about what there is to do today or what happened on the weekend. On your next in-breath, pressing into the left palm, extending the right out in front, and then taking the left underneath the right, dropping the left shoulder and the head down to the mat. Feeling the body as it settles. Noticing what you can smell, what you can taste, and what you can hear. Noticing any light or shadows across the eyes. Resting here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pressing into the right palm, straightening the left out in front. Slowly coming back up to tabletop, drawing the knees underneath the hips, gently moving them from side to side, releasing any tension. And then folding the ankles or taking the feet out to one side and sitting back. So we're going to sit with the legs crossed here. If you've got tight hips or hamstrings, you can remain on your pillow. Lifting up through the chest, broadening across the collarbones. Rolling the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. Again. Deep breath in and out through the mouth. 2 more. Placing the hands together over the heart space. So you can keep the palms pressed together, or you can place your hands over your heart. Bringing to mind 3 things that you're grateful for this morning. If you regularly practice gratitude, making sure that they're different from previous statements. As you begin to list these things, feeling the gratitude filling you up. When we feel gratitude, we're unable to feel anything else. Fear, worry, anger, frustration. Knowing that at any point today you can come back to listing these 3 things that you're grateful for, allowing you to fill yourself with gratitude. Thank you for joining me on the mat this morning. Namaste.